week one, and I have two closes out of those ads. Like that would not have happened without the ads running.
How's the pipeline? You said you're getting messages every day. It's been an insanely busy week.
Yeah. So I actually had to start pushing people off to next week for meetings. And it's been literally this week has been restructuring how I manage both my workload and workflow of current clients to bringing in new clients and what that kind of looks like. And so, like, beginning of the week, had like six meetings that were lined up almost back to back and, figured out real quickly that I needed to spread it out. So already have some next week kind of spread out throughout the week of follow-ups and essentially discovery calls and pitch calls.
Great problems to have though. It went from
Right.
like before we worked
Yeah.
together, like what did things look like? Like you were running ads, but like tell me about that.
For most of my clients that I'm working with, like we run a lot of social media. And so I had the chance to kind of run some ads for them and seen success in certain areas. And so I was like, okay, I might as well try it for myself because I'm seeing it working. And so I ended up launching, I think, two or three different ads and then went back to the drawing board multiple times. I think I dropped at least like 300, maybe 400 on an ad and got a single like person that reached out. And it was kind of a crap lead, anyways, where it was something that they just not qualified. I was running everything incorrectly, honestly, for what I was trying to create in terms of leads. Yeah, when you had reached out, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, man, I don't know if ads is going to work correctly for me. And then it was just one of those things where even looking at the structure that you and I kind of worked on building that out and that system, it just started making sense from like the overhead point of like this makes a lot of sense because you're getting in front of a person, really really soft pitch, really soft pull in, and then it's automatically warm lead. And so from that point to this point, like I've even been more confident in talking with my clients that are onboarding as, hey, like ads could be an option. I'm seeing this work. You came through one of these ads.
Yeah.
You might not think it'll work for your industry, but I know how to build out this system and we can track the system and see some quick turnarounds to make sense working, further down the road too. So it's one of those things that's working really well for me. And now I can confidently go into those conversations with clients and say, hey, this could work for you too.
Yeah, it's easy to think like ads didn't work for you if you just like tried it on your own one time and you didn't have the right approach.
Yeah.
It's just like anything. Like if you don't know what to do, yeah, they're probably not going to work very well. But we see this a lot with videographers, with our clients and people, they
Yeah.
spend $200 on an ad, they have no strategy behind it, and then it didn't work. And then they come to us or I reach out. It's like, yeah, I just don't think ads work for me or for my business or in my area. I can confidently say that 95% of the time ads are going to work. You probably just didn't have
Yeah.
the right approach. So you literally came
Right.
in week one, we scrapped those, we launched new ones, and then like I think like the next day after you launched them, you were like, dude, like I don't have time for all these meetings, like my phone's blowing up. So I think that's a great testament that ads work. It's just most of the time your strategy didn't work if you tried it on your own.
Right. Right. It's got to be the system that you have flowing and everything. And being able, I think a big piece too is just knowing what you're looking at. I think that was a big thing that like running my first ad, I was like, okay, all I see is a price point, right? Not necessarily an investment. I don't see the ROAS. I don't know how to calculate that stuff. I'm seeing the amount of people I'm getting in front of, but I got one hit essentially message wise that was like, hey, we're kind of interested versus now like I can look at my ads account and it's kind of that daily repetition of getting into the ads manager and also the ads tracker and being able to pinpoint, okay, these ads are working well, this ad set is spending too much money, this ad set, and like have a good understanding of what's happening in my account rather than just kind of throwing things at the wall and hoping they stick.
Yeah, again, just having an actual system for to the creative, to the setup, to the targeting, to also the tracking. That is a huge thing that most people miss is they think they know their numbers, but they don't know their numbers. And so we just gave you
Exactly.
our tracker. We showed you how to track things properly. And sometimes people's ads are working, but because they're not tracking them, I was just talking to someone the other day. They're like, I'm seeing money go out, it's not coming in, but then they looked at their numbers and they were like, oh, these ads are actually working really well. They just didn't know
Right.
their data. So it's boring, but we got to do it. And so, yeah, we just made that super easy for you as well. So, how are you feeling now, like moving forward? It's literally been like 2 weeks only, like it's still super early. You're
Yeah.
already like producing a positive ROAS for your business. Like, I think you said you have 6 meetings next week or something, or like today was super busy. Like, What does the next couple weeks look like now, and how are you feeling about that?
Absolutely. I'm kind of at the point now that I can confidently enter into obviously having ads run on the background and stuff, and like confidently making choices on what to push, kind of new ads to push and everything as well. But just over the next couple of weeks, I've got to figure out how to get, 9 outstanding projects done while also taking on new clients and stuff. So this
Yep.
has definitely put me in the position of confidence to be able to scale and work into the next step that I was looking for.
Yep.
Already like I'm finding my bottlenecks of like the editing piece, the admin piece, and I'm already filling those spaces, right? And so that's been really helpful as like a business owner, just like understanding like, okay, now I can actually confidently see my bottlenecks because I'm not trying to chase next client. I'm not trying to, get in front of people or do all the cold calls and everything at the same time. Now it's literally like, okay, I just have to manage my schedule and make sure I have time for all the projects I'm currently working on, and then also, time to chat with the people that want to chat.
Yeah. Yeah, now we just build leverage. We build teams,
Right.
systems, delegation. Like most people come in, their biggest problem is genuinely a lead generation problem. They just don't have enough attention and leads. But then we can quickly solve that, like for you in the first 2 weeks, in the first week, really. And now it's bringing on team, hiring more editors.
Yeah.
How do we fulfill on all this work so that we can continue to lock these people in on retainers and just build and build? Yeah, I'm pumped. Like it's so early. Like we'll probably do another one of these in like 2 months. But what would you say to someone who's like kind of skeptical of this system, of me, of our process? What would you say to that person?
There's a person that's kind of skeptical of whether or not ads have worked, and you've run ads in the past, or you're even in the position of debating if it's right for your industry. I would say it's worth taking a look at the system that you have built out specifically. It's one of
Mhm.
those things that you start looking at and you see how simple it is, but it's really easy to miss because especially as like a creative person and a creative director and a creative owner, it's like I'm always thinking of like creative ways to make things happen when it's really just as simple as getting somebody to follow you. That in and of itself is a warm enough lead that you can start following up and warms up that lead to actually have that conversation. And then you have the DM ads, which has people automatically coming in and just, messaging because you've hit their exact niche,
Niche, however you say
niche,
it.
niche, however you
Every
want to say it.
I get so many
Um,
comments on Instagram from people being like, "You're saying it wrong." I'll say it both ways, and then
right.
people still think I'm saying it wrong.
Exactly. And then you got those DM ads, and then you've even got retargeting. So it's like a full system that's literally just a cycle, and it's just refeeding and refeeding. And I've had other content creators reach out this week that have said, like, hey, you're hitting ads really hard. Like, is that working for you? And I've been able to confidently like reach back out and say, yeah, it's working really well. And you'd be surprised at how little I've actually spent this week.
Killer. Yeah, the key word there is it's a system. You now have a
Yeah.
system that you're in control of that you can turn off or turn on or turn up or turn down to produce more or less leads. Whereas, I've worked with a lot of videographers, 99.9% of them, they don't have a system. It's just waiting until
Yeah.
someone calls, referrals, word of mouth. And, those can be great when they come in, but they're not super
Right.
predictable. And it's like you can literally bump that spend up and you can get more busy. You can turn them off. Don't recommend doing that, but you could turn them off and just like focus on your work. You have options. You now have a system.
Yeah.
So that's got to feel pretty good.
It does. And I think it's easy to get caught up in like kind of that organic feel as a content creator too, because we're so used to
Yep.
serving people with short form content that we're like, oh, well, the organic will, carry us through and everything. And it doesn't really
It's not
matter. And we
enough.
don't necessarily need to track it because it's all up in the air on whether or not it's going to work because marketing. But this is a system that you actually, like you were saying, have complete control over and can see and can, qualify in terms of pricing and leads.
100%. Well, dude, I love it. Cheers to your success. It's only been like a couple weeks. I can't even imagine where you're going to be in a couple months now. You've been super fun to work with so far, and I'm just pumped to see where this ends up a month from now, 2 months from now. We
Yeah.
got to get you editors now and start scaling the team
Oh
because
my
you're
gosh.
just
Seriously.
taking off super fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I appreciate it. And honestly, it's been a blast working with you and the team too. There's a lot of great dudes that are in that group, and just being able to throw ideas out into that group and have a community that's on the same page is really, really helpful.
Glad to have you a part of it. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great rest of your day, man.